way too open, way too revealing. Sexy. We always aim for sexy, do we? Don't we?
Got to.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'll just slate this. Okay, so yes. Hi guys, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
Since last time, 2 years ago, where we spoke at Reverence, which doesn't exist anymore. So
Rest in peace.
rest in R.I.P. R.I. possible. Rest in peace, Reverence. So since last time, you guys now have a new member who isn't here at the moment, but she's around. Leah. Did you guys welcome her in any way, or was it just like
Anyway.
hey? Just play. Let's just play it together or something. Did you guys have like a right or something? I'm not saying that you're a frat house. I'm just saying we're a fraternity, not a house.
You had to pass the test, and it's play this song, which is like 270 beats per minute or something, and she could do it.
Oh.
So she passed the test, and not everybody can pass the test, but she was able to.
Oh, so it's like.
Well, it's not just 270 beats per minute isn't that fast, but it's 16ths in the hi-hat, which makes it fast.
Okay, so like. Okay. So it's like the black page of Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa used to have the black page, like, so it's a test.
What's that?
It was, well, Zappa was initially a drummer, and I think he's technically a maestro, so plays and is proficient at prolific as well, but proficient at, I think, 7 instruments. I think that's what qualifies for maestro. But so we used to get these. So he was particularly demanding with drummers. So it's important. So for drummers to qualify to play with Frank Zappa, he used to have this page that was so full of notes that it was almost black, so it became the black page. So
that makes sense, yeah.
And it's recorded, so it's black page 1 and black page 2. I think there's 2 versions.
Wow.
Yeah,
we should have that. Yeah.
Maybe have the black page.
I think so. It's important for the drummer to really be willing to die for the band.
Yeah,
I think,
sure.
you know, so if they're not really willing to do that, what would be the point? You know, so.
And not just metaphorically.
Yeah. What's the point of metaphors?
Yeah, exactly. You do everything. Always mean everything.
Always mean everything. You
Literally.
say,
Yeah. Exactly. To wordplay, and there's a lot of that coming up. But before you get to that, Death by Audio, I wasn't aware last time we spoke, but Death by Audio had to move the venue and the place of where you were based.
The venue is no more. That ended on my birthday in 2014.
Your birthday.
Yep.
Oh.
And then that was like my birthday present, I guess. It was Sick Twisted Way or something, I guess.
Don't look. So it might be, you know, something good might come.
Death Day. Exactly. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Cycle, yeah.
And so then we moved just the pedal space to Clinton Hill in Brooklyn, New York, and then now we just moved it to Ridgewood in Queens.
Oh, okay.
So now we're in this other totally fucked space, and built some bathrooms and some other things that are necessary for life, and our back building effects pedals.
Yeah. And but no more venue. The venue, it's
no, but we built a recording studio in there as well, and so we've been doing that some, and us and some other bands practice there sometimes and stuff.
So I heard of that recording studio. I heard it mentioned and knew about it. But do you guys, when you were building the studio, did you go about it in the same way, really, that you go about most of your things, which is like building it and then kind of tearing it apart and then rebuilding it back up and tearing it apart again?
I'm sure that's, yeah.
No, we didn't tear it apart. We haven't had time. But I mean, we built it, you know, just from, you know, trial and error, I guess, from the last space that they built. That they learned a lot from building that, and then we took it to the next level, I guess, on this space. It's still not finished, really, and that's been the same with even the other old Death Body. It was just always evolving. You know what I mean?
Okay, and so no destruction inside the studio, at least.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely destruction inside the studio, but we built the walls with like many layers of drywall all stacked on top of each other, all these different floating things in between liquid and crazy stuff like that, so it was very hard to break.
Really? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, is that a safety measure then?
Or maybe an anti-safety measure.
Okay. Speaking of breaking stuff, do you have, I don't remember if I asked you this last time, but do you have, by the way, I forgot about the airport. So we'll be having,
cool.
We'll be having airplanes every
if your flight hasn't arrived yet, your baggage will be there shortly.
Sure. Good. A good place to come and go, apparently, where we decided to be.
Are you recommending an airport?
I'm plugging an airport.
Yeah, exactly.
Lisbon Airport. Yeah. For all your flight needs. Terrible slogan. Terrible slogan. But still.
Captain's hats and stuff like that.
Captain's hat and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. That's it.
Wow.
Lisbon Airport. Captain's hat. Home of the captain hat.
And stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. I'm not too fond of advertising, so I don't care too much about slogans, but still. It's a
You're
skill.
pretty good at it, though, man.
No,
I think
I'm good at identifying. It's yours, though.
Oh, yeah, whatever. That's all right. You and me will team up, man.
Yeah.
We'll rebrand the world. Coke, it's pretty cool, man.
Rebranding the world one step at a time. Yeah. It's all about the beats. You have to get the like next time I'll wear the polo I wore last time because Oliver is wearing the same shirt.
I am, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a shirt for Portugal.
Portuguese. Loveland, Ohio. Small
shirt.
sound.
I'm sure everyone gets that.
They definitely do. They're way into that. Yeah, that's why I wear it, because it's like reminds people of home, or something.
And except fantastic. Speaking of breaking stuff, I was going to say, do you have one guitar that you never break? Or do they all go through the process?
I have a guitar I used to throw around that I don't do that anymore, just because it was like has a little bit of sentimental value, I guess. Mm-hmm. So
which one is it?
It's this Jazz Master that this dude sold me a long time ago for like $400 or something. It's like from 1965 or something like that.
Just for $100?
Yeah. Wow. It actually even cost less, because I also gave him some really crappy guitar as well, and so maybe just charged me $300 or something like that. It's really sweet guitar.
Color.
Yeah, really cool, rare, crazy, weird color, kind of the color of one of those posts. And it used to look more new, but it's all beat up now and stuff, because they sort of throw it on concrete and stuff. But
like you do.
Yeah, but and it's never like been totally broken, so it's still kind of like all original, real nice, and a good guitar.
And but that's a really unusual price for a Jazz Master. Is that a price that's around in New York?
No,
not at all.
No, I don't think so. It was just kind of like a buddy who like knew that I always wanted that kind of guitar, I think, and then
okay, that's
so he just was like, hey man, I'll sell this guitar that I know you would like more than I do, so yeah.
Okay, that's sweet.
It was very nice. Awesome. Yeah, for sure.
See, so
I remember I played a show one time, and I flew in an airplane just with that guitar. Yeah, it was pretty fun and exciting. And the dude who is me and another buddy, and he flew with just a pair of drumsticks. So it's sick. He just had drumsticks. I just had that guitar. It's pretty fun to just go on an adventure with barely anything. And,
With barely anything.
Make it happen, yeah.
And right now, I saw you just got off your sound check, and I saw what you have on stage, and it's a lot of stuff. Isn't it? Like technically a lot of stuff.
That show was terrible where I just brought the guitar. I was like, never again. No. Yeah, we have been like over the past years just like bringing more and more stuff to Europe, and it's so expensive, the baggage, that we just leave a bunch of stuff over here at someone's place, and then and at this point we've just done it so many times we have way too much shit.
But that's the Europe rig, right? That's
Yeah.
okay. So it's
And
not
stuff, so-
one set of things for country.
And it's always
per
kind of
country.
changing.
Yeah.
We're like flying stuff back and forth and whatever. It's like we'll always fly back with a bag or two or something. And some of this stuff even that we have up there, like we built just for this trip, you know. And so Dion had this crazy idea to like start this song or do something with like an oscillator, which would, you know, be like revving up and building and building and building and then explode into this song or something. And so I built the oscillator in a box and we brought it.
And are you going to turn that into a pedal?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, but you could though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you definitely could. Yeah, it's just, you know, it works really well as this giant box, you know, and it's real cool and guttural.
As a
and
box,
stuff
it
like
works really well. Like
Yeah,
it sits
and
there.
It wouldn't be that usable as a pedal.
It's not as usable. It's not the same kind of thing. It's more of an instrument itself, so it's kind of like.
You could get the same thing from a synth or something like that, you know.
I apologize. I was being daft. So yeah, it's just saying
Don't
as a
you
box.
dare! Don't you dare!
You'll get back to me.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see, dude.
Yeah, bastard.
Yeah. Well, the first comment on this is gonna be, "Oh, you're dead, man."
Oh, oh, you people, please. I don't usually incentivize.
You better watch it, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with
Watch-
us, man. Yeah, exactly. First comment, dude.
You gotta watch
You're going down.
YouTube
totally.
comments.
This is a fight, man. He challenges you to a duel.
I
Are
do.
you prepared?
Are you?
Can you do it?
Can you? I'm just following up now.
There you go. It's good.
There you go. Dual me internet.
There you go. Yeah, let's have a fight. Yeah.
Internet
Do
or-
your worst.
Or television if this soon goes on TV.
Oh yeah,
So there you go.
or the movies, or
Or the movies.
or Sundance. If you want to give an award for best supporting actor,
Well, I feel that TV is still in the realm of possibilities. I don't think that we are going on like Broadway or something.
okay, yeah. There you go.
Made of Things, the Broadway show.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Actually,
Oh.
we have a new website, and it's called Made of Things, the website.
Cool.
So, the
I
website.
think the musical would be
Yeah.
good.
Oh, Made of Things, the musical.
Made of Things, the
That's
musical.
next. Yeah, totally.
That's way better than the Broadway show.
Oh, sorry, you got Made of Things, the Broadway show. The musical. Definitely
The
do
Broadway
the
show,
musical.
the musical.
Yeah, the Broadway show, the musical.
There you go. There you go.
Exactly.
It's done. It's done. It's already
Made of
written.
Things on Broadway.
I have it right here in my pocket. About those things that you have on stage, are those all amps, like on top of your Marshall cabinet?
They're kind of different things that we'll build depending on you know, what kind of works, and sometimes they'll get broken down and we'll throw them around and they don't work anymore, and you rebuild them back up and fix them into things, and so they've kind of morphed and changed throughout the years into some different things. We just kind of you know, started kind of building more things like sort of all around that we can kind of interact with as the show goes on, and it just
Okay.
kind of keeps it sort of exciting when you can like pick up a strobe light and fling it around your head or something like that, or you know, play some sort of effect or something, or that just kind of gives you sort of more options to run over to some sort of tool and do something with it.
Okay.
Which is fun.
So it's not finite gear, as opposed to, I guess, 99% of bands around the world that have like things that someone else made and it's done. And so you guys still tweak and have stuff that you change literally.
I think it's more, it's important, I think, to like be able to adapt to any sort of situation, and when things sort of go wrong, be able to turn that into something that's right. So we kind of, I guess, like practice that all the time with having a bunch of real messed up, broken gear and stuff, and you just have to make do and make work with what you have, and it really gets you to tune your ears in to this certain situation where you are adjusting your amp and everything that's going on in coordinates to the environment that you're in, and really make sort of a unique and special performance to that individual place. And I think
nice string of words, dude.
and I think that is like makes it exciting and makes even the performance better than anything that could be pre-planned. It's like otherwise you're sort of just, you may as well go to some place and listen to a CD really loud, and that can be really cool too, and is exciting and fun to be there with your friends and dancing and doing all of these things. But we're kind of trying, I think, to sort of hark back on those sort of shows and everything that we loved when we were a kid, back when you kind of didn't even know what the hell was going on, and you were sort of like even really thrilled and excited to just be out when you weren't supposed to be out, and smoking cigarettes or whatever you were doing that you probably shouldn't have been doing too late, and with that thrill and excitement, and kind of trying to bring back those moments and those feelings of that kind of stuff. And I think that involves something that is like really chaotic and potentially dangerous, and that keeps it really exciting and lets you know that you're alive.
Changing stuff up for live shows hasn't gone to a point in which you like do stuff such as welding, like on stage, right? You haven't welded stuff or got it like a blowing torch or something.
I've had to use like a lighter to like fix a speaker cabinet or something like that,
See?
So it's close to welding or something.
Close to welding with a lighter.
Yeah, less temperatures, I guess, 500 degrees Fahrenheit or something, so whatever that is in Celsius.
I have measures I don't know, miles,
or
kilometers,
something like that, who knows,
Not your guy for those sorts of things.
That's all right.
No idea. Celsius, Fahrenheit.
So someone comment on the bottom and write what the conversion is.
Please tell us what temperature it is right now.
Yeah.
That's our poll.
Yeah.
Tell us which temperature it is. There you go. The album, so Pinned, is this something that happened willingly, and is it a positive situation?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we it just sort of kind of came about. So, it's that sort of constant sort of exploration for creating more songs that you want to listen to, and share music with the band and make something that we think is like really cool. And that's kind of what Pin ended up just being sort of naturally as the time in between the tours sort of collected together.
Okay.
But I think that
the tree enjoyed this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. I think that it was a positive that came out of like some pretty crazy and intense times of a couple different moves and some other weird, funky things going down. And I think that I think that it's a good reflection on that. I think if you have some things, whether they be like terrible or awesome or whatever it is in your life, happen, then it's sort of really good inspiration for some good music. So with some of those crazy, stressful, and intense times comes some good reflections upon that.
So from getting something that you weren't so keen on your birthday, then comes something that's maybe very positive.
Sure.
Going back
Yeah.
to what happened, because you were speaking of also unpleasant things, so I just remember not to hark too much on that.
Thanks for bringing it up again.
Yeah. So I'm here for the unpleasant times. Really. I'm here for the unpleasant times. So my English is starting to decay. Yeah. We're here for the unpleasant times. Exactly. For never coming back, considering your touring history, is it something that you can consider false advertising, for instance, because you're always coming back?
You never know. You have to wait and see. This might be the last time we ever play it tonight.
Hopefully not thanks to us.
Yeah, no, sure.
Hopefully we're not a decisive factor in that.
We'll see. Yeah, totally.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. You come back forever.
Hey, there we go. One would hope so. So I guess you can
will.
see how
you will.
how things are fragile. We'll see.
You'll be playing live music forever.
Well, we'll hope so, but you never know. Sometimes we get hurt pretty bad playing music. So
have you had any injuries? You guys have you? It's very common in musicians to have injuries.
So just doing stuff like you whack your head really hard, or
I don't mean that. I mean like back hernias,
knees and stuff. I gave myself whiplash and stuff like that, and
wow.
Yeah. I was too excited, I guess, at a show.
Whiplash. Jeez.
And you just we just do stupid shit, so you're constantly hurting yourself. It's like very often one of us will be limping or something like that, so you just wear yourself down, or kind of get blood blisters all over your fingers or something like that, or
Sure.
rip your fingernails off and stuff, and those things aren't necessarily too bad, but you hit your head too many times, it can be kind of bad, or you hurt your back too bad. It's that can kind of be it, I feel like.
So concussions, really. Concussions. Be careful. Otherwise you can't wrestle anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless all the doctors in the United States clear you, and then you can. This is a reference to something else. But still.
I actually burned a big part of my hand welding a guitar once.
Oh wow, gosh.
Again,
I
back
had
to
the
welding.
brilliant idea of welding drunk. It did not go
Oh
well.
my gosh, I one time grabbed a soldering iron. Is that what you did?
Really? Exactly what I did.
It smelled really good. It smells like cooked hamburger, human flesh burning, which is I guess a terrible thing, but it was so painful, but the smell was delicious. It hurt so bad.
We had nothing in our house. I had to cover my hand in olive oil
Oh, that's probably
and toilet
smart.
paper and then go to a shower.
Oh my gosh, I just would carry around a cup of cold water and keep my hand in the cold water, and I would go to sleep with the cold water, and then as the water would get warmer and warmer, I'd eventually wake up,
and have
because of the pain, and then have to change the water.
For how long? How long does that take? the
A
healing
couple
process?
days or something like that. I mean, and then it's bearable, but it's still painful.
Good.
Yeah,
Not a good experience.
That sounds really awful.
It cooks you so fast,
wow.
within a second. So watch out.
So it's useful for Hannibal Lecter then, really. Hannibal Lecter will cook you in no time.
Someone did tell me a really cool thing you can do is with a cigarette, if you inhale it a whole bunch of times to get the cherry really hot, you can burn yourself with it. And what happens is, at first it hurts really bad for the count of 5 or something, and then eventually you just can't feel it at all.
Oh, okay. That's because with your brain.
I don't know. I wouldn't try it. I'm never going to do it, but...
metal, but you should put metal on a burn.
Oh, yeah?
And then it really hurts. It really burns.
Oh, wow.
But then it gets a little better.
Okay.
Rather than cold water.
Oh,
yeah, because, okay.
Cold metal would be
Makes
the thing,
sense.
but I put a knife against it, and I was like, no way, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, for sure.
And my friends were really concerned because I have a laugh response to pain, and so
And you were
I
laughing
went
like
outside. I was
crazy.
laughing, giggling the
Oh
whole
my
night, and
gosh.
everyone was like, "You have to stop whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
We're gonna
exactly.
take you to the hospital. We don't care." And I was
gosh.
just like, a burn.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a way to. I guess it's you learn all sorts of things on this show. That's what I mean. Yeah,
You do.
There you go. Not to again be self-conscious about the show, but still. speaking of things that are pleasant, too tough to kill. So, what are the things that are too tough to kill apart from apparently dumb shit? Like what's some things that are tough to kill? Last time we spoke about again. I remember this because I edit myself, so I know that I have to go through things. Just so I have more vivid memories of what happened. This kid sounded like seagulls, those are. This is if you can hear this. Those are kids. It's not. Those aren't seagulls, and they sound like seagulls. Still, okay, but too tough to kill. Okay, so if like wasps, for instance, I think there's something that you want. This is the only animal you want to kill. I think this is cockroaches. But apart from that, no animals. We want to kill no animals. This harks back on the other interview, actually. Mosquitoes. I hate mosquitoes.
Someone trying to shower a cockroach to death, but they just do not die.
Oh, yeah.
And then someone said, yeah, like a cockroach can hold their breath for an hour and a half. So you cannot drown it.
So what they do is they go through the pipes a long time and eventually arrive somewhere and stuff, yeah.
They go through the pipes and then arrive somewhere. Maybe in Australia.
Could be, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's reasons why they stuck around so long.
Yeah.
So what are some examples of the dumb shit that you might want to kill?
Just people doing bad things, I'd say. You know, it's like there's just kind of a lot of weird people who get the idea that other people aren't important or animals aren't important and stuff, and so I think that there's just enough of them to where they can amass and do a bunch of stupid shit because they just kind of want to band together, be part of some sort of group or something, and that's sort of like, I think it stems from like certain insecurities and things in their own lives and other things like that, and they don't, they're not kind of like open to learning things. Maybe they kind of were shut off from that kind of stuff, so it's maybe
there's so many people that are reluctant, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so in some ways. So that's a tough thing. It's weird when someone is just sort of for no sense stubborn, so I think that, and
sometimes the more ignorant you are, the more stubborn you are, right?
Sometimes it's just weird. I don't know what it is. I know real smart people are real stubborn too. It's like certain things people just don't want to budge on, and it just makes no sense, and I think it's an infliction.
Sometimes the people just can't justify their opinions, and they're just like, no, because this is like this, and you don't know anything, and so
they just want to do it just cause.
Exactly, just cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. Creator of Death by Audio and with gear that you sell, there's not too many people that make good art, I would say, or make good music that also make good pedals. And there's not too many of you, I think, that are successful. There's like you. I can remember Brian of Small Sound Big Sound.
Yeah.
I think with Simple Z guitars.
Yeah.
That's a band that I love, and the pedals are really good as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sure. And but how do you feel, for instance, that when you see, for instance, Andy at ProGuitarShop.com or Reverb.com at the moment, with more classic rock licks, playing Death by Audio pedals? How do you feel when you see something that's maybe, I guess that's the question. You feel however you feel, but what's been like the most unexpected outcome that someone has presented you or everyone with this is a very complicated question, but with your gear that you've seen?
I don't know. I mean, it's always an honor if anybody wants to play this stuff, and like Andy's, guitar playing is awesome and stuff like that. So I like it. It's awesome. And so I guess just for me, anybody who like, if I was kind of a fan of when I was younger, and sort of them, or anyone I'm a fan of now, like them kind of using the products and things that I make just because it's like, I kind of feel like I'm just some random old normal person. I guess everyone probably thinks of themselves as that. So someone who is like
not old. Sure.
Well, like Kevin Shields or somebody who like I'm like kind of a fan of being inspired by some effects pedals and doing something with them. Just kind of like means a lot and is pretty insane. And people like that. Or like I heard like Lou Reed, really loved the pedals and stuff like that a lot, and would tell all his friends and stuff. And so it's kind of when you hear something like that, it just seems so far out of touch with reality. So that's really weird.
Speaking of out of touch with reality, Kevin Shields. No, but Kevin Shields. I'm just kidding. I love Kevin Shields and my Bloody Valentine, and I've seen them live a couple of times, and they've been really good always.
Yeah.
But you kind of don't know if he knows really, not he knows, but if that is really true, that level of precision in his hearing, right? Like, because for instance, he might just really. My point is that like if he loves your stuff, that he just willingly wants to love your stuff, which is really cool, right? Like I guess because you're
talking about how fine-tuned his ear is.
Yes.
Probably not too good because it plays so loud.
Yeah.
No, I think his ears are good. I think the aesthetics and those kind of things. There's something which a lot of that stuff and being a builder and things, you kind of start to realize that, part of it is to do with like the fidelity of the sound and stuff, but a lot of it has to do with all sorts of other factors which, have not as much to do with that, but kind of like what thrills you and excites you, and what are like new sounds and interesting sounds. And if you can't quite hear all the frequency spectrums, that doesn't really affect all of those sorts of things. I mean, that only maybe comes into play in the sense of like if you're like mastering a record, and being able to pinpoint certain frequencies and know which they are, but very few people can even do that even anyways. And that's kind of a different sort of art, which if you would lose some of your range, you would still know all the other frequencies and all those things. Like not many people can do that, or be able to like sing a perfect A note or something out of the blue. And I think if you lose some of your hearing, you'll still be able to do that.
Okay.
It's just
out of
you know what I mean. So I think he's still a genius and got it and really into that stuff. And I don't think that those two necessarily, matter as much. So
I'm not putting you on the spot, especially even for myself.
No, that's the truth. But I understand what you're saying. And it's like people could be kind of, I think people get kind of jaded as time goes on and stuff. Sure. But that in some ways too, like sort of is exciting to see what's beyond that. Like for a while, I was kind of bummed out that like I started playing music because it takes away the mystery of like all these bands and stuff. Because you're like, oh, I just don't like it when somebody plays this like funky bass line or something like that, because that just sounds like something that reminds me of some kid that I don't like who's playing this funky thing, and I can pinpoint it and know exactly what that is. But after a while, that sort of just then takes on this other world where then there's these other interests that you get out of music and other interesting things. And sure, sometimes like a really bad drummer or something can ruin a band for me live, but I think there's still a lot of cool things to learn and know, and what's next beyond that stuff.
But then on the other hand, like sometimes it makes it indescribable, really, that some artists can really just some bands and stuff, and some people can just play really simple chord progressions and make it special again somehow. Yeah, and you don't know why. Still, there's always kind of that, right? Like there's always like where you can't explain why a Dylan works really in terms of. I'm not the Dylan guy, but I'm just saying someone whose work sometimes
Bob Dylan's son.
Simple.
Yeah, but
Jacoby.
Yeah, I think that it's like you'll find out that it's like the subtleties and expression and so many of these other things are really important. It's even like just going to a really good restaurant. You can like kind of instantly pinpoint like this is an incredible meal, and sometimes it's like because there's not too much salt on it, or there's not too much, and it's just the right amount of things, and there was like the perfect amount of like presentation and everything, how this kind of worked out, and the same kind of thing makes sense completely in music. And I think that when it's like kind of honest and there's some sort of like real power coming and being projected in that moment. Like you can really pick up on that, and that's something that like we learned in the studio kind of a while ago, where like the particular performance is like really important. You know, it's like you kind of get lazy in these days and age, and lots of people just kind of sit back behind their computer and let the computer do all the work and fix all these things. But you really gotta like, the best performances are those ones where you're really passionately feeling it and digging in and excited about what you're doing. And I think other people can see that too. And you know, that's something that we kind of even always sort of, you know, struggle and talk with in some ways, of like whether, you know, it's worth it to, you know, even kind of keep on going on as a band. And I think as long as, you know, we're doing something that's thrilling and exciting to us, and then it seems like it's then worth it to be projecting it to other people, then we'll continue. And as soon as it just becomes some sort of thing where we've figured out the formula and it's phoned in, and you know,
go through the motions and stuff like that.
it's like, I think people can read that, and I think people can read that in a performance and on a recording and writing or anything, and just be kind of you know, lackluster and sort of terrible, and it means it's time to move on.
Yes. It's hopefully not that's not happening to you guys, and you guys keep it fresh forever. So and happy times forever. Side note, I was not I love my Bloody Valentine. I don't put down even like stuff that actively, even much less things that I like, such as my Bloody Valentine. I was just saying because I saw them live once, and he stopped the show to go listen to this tweaker inside this huge amp cabinet, like, and in the middle of Primavera Sound. So that seemed unreasonable to me for some reason.
Well,
you don't stop a song in the middle. It's just like because you're not happy with something that no one else is, you know.
You never know. I guess for him it was annoying him. So hey,
you know, right?
You know, it all depends on what the moment is. Sometimes that stuff is real important. Like I think we're all like in this band not afraid to do something drastic if it's going to help out the whole show. So sometimes you got to run downstairs and, you know, or wherever, and tell like a sound guy that something is happening that's wrong, and you know, everyone else in the band will kind of do something interesting and improvise at this moment to make it cool.
Awesome. Okay, enough. It's enough. We're done.
Sweet.